Hello, my loves. Welcome to Eris Academy, where you are going to learn how to accept your status as an heir of God, find your purpose, and to live a fulfilled life. My name is Jasmine. I am your headmistress, which just means I'm going to be guiding you along in the process from living a boring, mundane life that you cannot stand to a life that you're absolutely obsessed with. So if this is sounding like your vibe, do not forget to hit like, subscribe, and also leave your favorite color heart in the comment. That way I can know that you're here and you're vibing along with the content. And today we are going to be talking about how to take care of yourself because princesses get treated exceptionally well, especially by themselves. So we're still in our 101 series, and if you're new here, our 101 series is the foundations of what is going to make you feel like an heir of God. There's certain foundations that you're going to need as God's daughter, and just like princesses need to go through trainings to equip them to be set up for their kingdom, so do you. And today we're going to be talking about how to take care of yourself because again, we're supposed to be royalty. We are supposed to be at the top of our game, ruling kingdoms, etc., etc. What's really important, especially as a woman, is to make sure that you are taking care of yourself properly, to make sure you're not carrying the weight of the world like on your shoulders. That way you can actually operate in the best way that you possibly can. So, jumping right into it, how are we going to learn how to take care of ourselves and what does that actually look like and what does that mean? So, first of all, your body is used to operating at a certain standard. Whatever standard you set for yourself, you're going to be continually operating in. And sometimes we have that programming kind of like within our mind without thinking about what we're actually doing and what we trained our body to accept. What you do continually is what you are going to learn to expect. So if you're continually treating your body like trash, if you're continually not getting enough sleep, if your place continues to look a mess, that is how your brain is going to operate as normal. The thing is that you're going to get used to being in that space of normal, but that doesn't actually mean that your body is in a relaxed state. That doesn't mean that you actually feel like you're getting taken care of. It just feels like this is what's normal. Perfect example of this is drinking water. If you are a water drinker, you know if you drink a bunch of water continuously and you drink the proper amount of water every single day, if you go a day where you're not drinking the proper amount of water, all of a sudden you feel like trash. I did this over the weekend and I missed a couple days of actually drinking the proper water, eating the right amount of food, etc., etc. Headache. I don't get headaches. Headache like no other. And I'm like, dang, I missed one day and it brought me back to feeling horrible. The thing is, if I would have sat in that state of not drinking enough water, not eating enough food, my body eventually would have gotten used to that treatment. But that does not mean that I'm operating in the best way that I can. Working out. So your body is not going to be used to working out. If you go to the gym and you go super hard all of a sudden, your body's not used to that. And it's like, whoa, what is happening? But once you start doing it continually, when you start working out, it starts to be a stress relief. Your body starts to depend on it. You start to get used to it. And then when you start to miss those workouts, your body's like, whoa, what's going on? It doesn't have that outlet. It doesn't have that relaxing, activity, relaxing relatively, but it doesn't have that relaxing activity that it used to have. It's just going to have all that stress just balled up in your body and it's not going to be feeling great because it's used to moving around and getting stretched and getting exercise, and now all of a sudden it's cooped up sitting in a chair, sitting in bed all day. Another example of this, and my favorite example of this, is luxuries. I have a rule in life that I do not start to set certain luxuries or certain standards for myself that I know that I don't want to maintain. Because what happens is, let's say, like for skincare, you decide that you're going to up your skincare brand and, oh, let me try out this new product that's like, let's say like $50 a bottle for something that's small, and that's not feasible right now for you to continue up with getting something every 2 weeks, every month that's $50 a bottle. It just doesn't make any sense. You get that little luxury and it fixes your skin. You're like, wow, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Now you have to keep up with that luxury. So on the flip side of all of this, although there's certain things that you can do like drinking water, eating healthy, working out, that's going to make you feel great, is it going to be something that you're able to maintain? Because we want taking care of ourselves, we want to reach a baseline. We want it to be something that we can continually maintain so that we feel great even if we're not like doing too much. So if you get in the habit of every single day, like you go from doing nothing in the gym to working out, 80 times a week, your body's not used to that. Oh, you're trying to maintain it. You're not going to be able to keep up with it. So the question becomes, how do you know if you're doing too much, right? Eating healthy, working out, and doing all of those different things is definitely going to be a goal for all of us. Doing skincare, looking our best. How do you know if you're doing too much? You're going to want to learn yourself. And you're going to want to learn what you actually need to feel like you're at your baseline. A really good way to think about this is if you look around in your environment and the current status of like your mental status, your health, your house, and you look around, what is making you feel out of peace? Again, for me, a clean house is super important. If my house is not clean, I don't feel like I'm at a good baseline. I don't feel like I'm operating in the best way that I can. So, although sometimes like taking care of yourself can look like, oh, I'm going to take a bath or I'm going to go to the spa or I'm going to rest and I'm going to sleep in instead of like, getting up and doing something. Sometimes it's going to look like, I actually need to get out of bed to clean up my whole entire house because I don't feel rested while I'm in a dirty space that I can control. Another way to look at it is, what do you actually want to be your baseline? Like, what are you trying to work towards? And then you can set smaller goals to get to that baseline that you're trying to get to. But if your baseline is you're working out consistently, you're eating healthy, you're drinking however many ounces of water, you're going for walks, you're stretching, you're going to actually do workouts, you're reading. I'm trying to think of all the different baselines that I have for myself. But if all of those are your baselines, but you're going from your house looks a mess, you've been eating out every single day, your budget is just out of control, you haven't taken care of yourself, your hair, your looks, or anything recently, and you try to do all of that at one time, it's going to stress you out. So just focus on one thing for every couple of days, adding it in and doing that consistently. Or what I did today, which just is really helpful for me, is I had a bunch of things that I had to do in my brain. You need to write it out so that you can lift off that mental load that you have. So write down all of the things that are stressing you out. You're going to write down the fact that the house isn't clean. You're going to write down the fact that you need to do your hair, the fact that you need to finish this for work, check this email, respond to this person, book this doctor's appointment. Write down all of those different things that you're trying to do. And then, since it's written out, you can actually organize them. Like you can get them set up in the order of priority and the things that are going to make you feel the best. So when you look at that list, look at what is going to lift the biggest weight off of my shoulder, number one, or two, what is the thing that I want to do the least on here? Why do we want to ask that question? That's because we want to get that one over with first. There's a book on procrastination called like Eat the Frog or Eat That Frog. And it talks about like if you had to eat a frog every single day, you're going to want to eat the frog early in the morning and get it out of the way. The thing that's causing you the most stress, after you finish doing that, you are going to feel so much more accomplished. And getting everything else done on your to do list is going to make you feel accomplished. And that momentum is going to keep you moving forward. But doing a bunch of tasks that you like could do, but that's not actually making you feel better, isn't taking care of yourself. That's procrastination. Take care of the big things first and then leave the little things to get done later, the little things that won't actually matter, or the little things that you can knock out really quickly. But get the heavy things done as soon as you can. Another way to also look at this is, what is going to get you out of feeling like you're in survival mode. Sometimes taking care of yourself is going to be about having tough conversations with people or setting boundaries with people, or again, doing the activities that you don't want to do. It's believing that you can actually do, which we're going to talk about next week, but believing that you can actually do these hard things, that is a such a pure form of self-care and self-love, because you're like, I'm going to do this hard, difficult thing because I love myself. It's like discipline, like if you have to discipline like a kid or you discipline a dog. I was talking about how like children and dogs, in raising them or training them, is actually really similar, but it always sounds super awkward to say because you don't want to compare a human to a dog. But in raising children or training dogs, like there's certain things that you're going to have to do that's going to seem like it hurts in the moment. And that person is going to go through, or that animal is going to go through such like a stress or a struggle to have to learn how to do something, but it's ultimately going to benefit them in the end. You have to treat or train yourself in the same exact way, and doing the things that's actually going to help you feel better, that's going to help you not be in a survival state. That way you can operate better just in life. In some ways, to know if you're actually in a survival state, like let's say you're looking around and you're like, this is my baseline, but I still feel stressed out. So your house is clean, you're working out, you're taking care of yourself, but there's something going on with you and like a family member that's super stressing you out, or something that's going on in your relationship. For me, if my relationship is not stable, nothing else feels stable in my life till I'm back to being good with my partner. This can feel toxic in a way. So, but the thing is, like, I always believe, like, if you have a super deep love and you're trying to have like a soul level, soul bond connection, if you're in an argument with someone that you love on a soul level, and it doesn't have to be a partner, it can be same thing with like my siblings. If I'm off with my siblings and there's an issue, things feel off in life. So sometimes the self care and the getting out of survival mode is having a conversation with someone. That's going to be that difficult conversation so that you can get out of survival mode. Now, what if you have the conversation and it goes bad and there's nothing that you can do? That's why we're heirs. We're daughters of God. That's when you give it to God. Like that's the weight that's on your shoulder shouldn't be on your shoulder, because either one, you can do something about it, or two, you give it to God. Like you just have those two options. So at a certain point, you just have to kind of like lift it off of yourself. And that can take some time to get to. So taking care of yourself is going to be a continual process. Don't rush it. Don't stress yourself out trying to think that you should just feel better just because you cleaned up your house, or you should just feel better just because you automatically had a conversation with someone. Don't rush that process. So once you find out what works for you and what's actually stressing you out, because it may not be the same thing for you that it is for me. But once you find those things where you're like, these are my baselines and these are the issues in my life that is giving me anxiety, and you've written them out and you've taken a look at them, that's when you can actually tackle. And doing all of that work together is the self care. Now, if you're still thinking, like, I have no idea what areas of my life I need to figure out, like, I don't know, here are some of the areas that I think that are just super helpful and that just count as like true self care and really taking care of yourself. Number one is hygiene. Are you actually taking care of your hygiene to the fullest extent? That means doing like your night routine, your skincare routine, taking a shower consistently, taking care of your teeth, your grooming things, like maybe it's your nails or your hair. And it's not about getting your nails done or having your hair done, but are they clean? Are they as manicured as possible? Like, are you in the state of this is my baseline and I'm good here taking care of myself? Two is, I've mentioned it a bunch of times because, again, like for me, it's really a thing, but your house. And your house being clean can mean different things. Like sometimes my stress does not come from, oh my goodness, like my house isn't spotless and there's a speck of dust on the ground. If the dishes are in the sink, if that's giving you anxiety, if it's the fact that your bed's not made up, if it's the fact that your bed sheets aren't washed, if there's clothes all over the place. Again, sometimes my cleaning up is hitting the dishes, wiping off the counters, and making it look generally straightened up. Generally straightened up for me sometimes will just mean that I'm putting all of my clothes in a pile and then I'm keeping it pushing from there. But as long as they're not like scattered all over the place. General cleaning for other people may mean that those clothes have to be put away. Also, general cleaning, sometimes for me, like if the dishes are in the sink, they're as organized as possible in the sink, because you sometimes have to just do what you can to take care of yourself, because that takes energy, it takes effort, it takes time. You may not have all of that at the moment. So start small, organize the dishes in your sink, put your clothes in a pile, like just straighten up instead of doing a deep clean. Also, we mentioned your boundaries with other people. Your boundaries with other people, like having tough conversation with people, but also sometimes taking care of other people is considered self care. Like, I feel great when my husband feels great and he feels taken care of. If he's feeling crazy and not taken care of and our relationship is off in that aspect, I'm not going to feel great. It may be the same with kids. Like, you want to make sure that your kids are straight and your kids are doing good, again, within your abilities, because, we can't attach how we're completely feeling to other people. But if that aspect of making sure that they're good, that their lunches are packed, that's going to lift off your mental load, that's going to add stress, that's part of taking care of yourself. So sometimes you're going to have to look at these different areas and be like, what do I need more? Do I need the bath, or do I need to make like lunch for my kids? Or do I need to complete this task? Or do I need to go complete a task for someone else? Because sometimes helping other people makes us feel better in general. When we ask this question, we have to be honest, because sometimes the answer is going to be, I need a bath more than those kids' lunches need to be ready. Or I need to sleep earlier more than I need to have this long conversation with someone. So it's like, think about what's actually going to make you feel better in that moment. And also what God's telling you to do. Because sometimes God's going to tell you to do something that you're not going to feel like a self care, but it's still important to take care of and to tackle. Leave in the comments some different areas that you feel like you actually need to have taken care of in order to have your baseline. That way we can give other people ideas too. And that's it. Next week, we're going to be doing a refinement 101 video talking about hard work and why it's important. So I'm really excited for that one. I will see you guys next week, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.